Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Saka here with another episode of NASCAR Racing 2003 season, and we are at our second road course of the year in Watkins Glen, New York. We have 9 laps and 10 in the tank, so our strategy for this race, don't pit. It's going to be killer on the tires, but these guys are wicked fast indeed. We qualified toward the back of the pack here. It's almost going to be like a worst to first challenge, except they have to pit. I'm pretty sure the AI is going to duck off at some point this race. We need to make up as much ground as we can on the start here into the first right-hander at Watkins Glen. These cars really don't restart well as far as the AI is concerned, so we can grab a few positions here. Brandon is in the Texaco Haviland car 2 rows in front of us, and we are racing in our championship in the 2000 mod. We are behind the 14, but probably not for long. Pace car is off. Get ready, and green flag is in the air. Let's peek to the right. We won't pass him before the line, and we will get a good run into the first turn. We want to slow down nice and early. We don't want to slide up. And we've got enough torque off of this turn that we can really put the hammer down and get past Mayfield here. We've cleared him up through the S's, really loose in this section. Try to keep the car under us, and then after this right-hander, the long straightaway and the bus stop should be really interesting to get into. Let's get under this Bell South car. Let's look 3 wide. Well, no, I'm going to back out because I'm pretty sure that Cartoon Network car is going to cut down. We'll leave as much room as we can down there in the bottom and try to get them with the carousel. I don't like racing these guys that hard as we are not pitting for fuel, therefore not pitting for tires. I think that's where the AI is going to weigh the options and say that tires are worth it. Down this straightaway here into a left and right-hander to complete the lap. Let's see if we can get in braking here behind Jeffrey Bodine. We'll wash out just a little bit. A lot of wheel is needed in this car to get it to turn, and that doesn't bode well for our right front. Off the turn, that's 1 lap down, 8 laps to go. We'll get a good run going down into turn 1 here. We'll make up a couple more spots, see if we can get under the 32 of Scott Pruitt. We will, kind of. Let's see if we can get this torque and get into the S's before Scott. Looks like we will indeed. He will roll over, and we will settle in behind the 11 of Brett Bodine. Very fast section through here. Oh, looks like Brandon chopped the corner just a touch, but no worries. We keep it straight. If a yellow is to come out, that will help us, but it needs to come out early. We don't want this thing ending under yellow like Sears Point or Infineon or Sonoma or whatever you want to call it. That race ended under yellow. We want this one to go green all the way so that the AI's hand is, whoa, okay, a little loose in the carousel. That car is right on our back bumper. The Cartoon Network Powder Puff Power pushing us around. Let's see if we can get away from this guy, shall we? Into this turn, we don't want to wheel hop. We want to make sure that the RPMs get nice and low before we downshift. Otherwise, we are going to be really sliding the rear tires. Good exit here. We should get the drive off. Let's see if we can make any ground up going into turn 1 here. Watkins Glen is probably my favorite road course of the 2. A lot of elevation changes. It just fits my driving style better, I think. This AI, though, was relentless, going 4 or 5 seconds faster than both Brandon and I in qualifying. So we need a little bit of strategy to get up there. Those guys are pretty quick. We'll go up through the S's here. Whoa, a little loose there. The car is really light on top of the hills. We want to keep the car under us as best we can and try not to slide those tires. We are not coming down pit road. We are gaining on the 11 though. We could sort of mind our pace here, sort of stay right here and make up a lot of ground. Pit road speed is 35 miles an hour, so as long as we are within spitting distance of the leaders, we should be able to pass them no problem on this strategy. All right, down into turn 10 here. Chatter the rear tires just a bit, but a good turn through there. And let's see if we can make up a lot of time. Turn 11, this right-hander seems to be where I get a lot of work done, but Brett Bodine gets out of that turn a lot better. The race is already nearly half over, so we're just waiting for things to happen for sure. If the leaders do not pit, if they stretch out for fuel, whoa, okay. If the leaders stretch out for fuel, we'll be pretty much right here in 21st. So as long as they pit and we can bring it back home, we'll get a top 20. Hoping for a top 10 or even a top 5. Bounce off the curb just a little bit there. This car is definitely a handful. Sliding around is not boding well for the tires, and oh, engine temperature. Well, that's not good. This is a race setup, man. I guess since the temperature goes on and then goes off, we have the ideal amount of tape on the nose to help us turn, but I don't like seeing any sort of warning gauges on my dash, that is for sure. We'll get a good run out of the turn. Brett Bodine is just within shouting distance here. We'll see if we can get him going into turn 10, and then of course get that good momentum out of turn 11. We're right on his back bumper here. All right, let's get some good drive. A little bit loose there, but we can get this drive getting past the start-finish line and into turn 1. He almost lays over for us. That's pretty good. Thank you, Brett. And there's Brandon right in front of us. We're keeping touch with him for sure. He and I are really equals when it comes to our lap times. We're never more than a few tenths apart when it comes to the grand scheme of things. He's a lot faster through that section of the S's, even though, you know, it's a couple of quick turns, it's still very fast, and you need to get off the S's very quickly and get as much speed as you can down this straightaway here. We'll see if we can gain a little bit in the bus stop, and of course, if Brandon makes a mistake, we will be right on his back bumper to capitalize. Things can happen very big here at Watkins Glen. Sliding off the track is definitely a means to an end. We want to keep all 4 tires on the pavement. Pretty good carousel for us there. Let's get down in this turn and focus on 4 laps to go. So definitely past halfway now. Woof. Missed the braking point there just a bit. 1 lapse of misconcentration and you're off in the dirt. And this is before the paving out of side of turn 10 and outside of turn 1. So if you overshoot, there's a lot of dirt to just sort of bog you down, as Jimmy Johnson can attest to in his Busch Grand National days. All right, solid turn 1. That's probably the most nervous turn on the racetrack. You're carrying the most speed into one of the sharpest turns. A good series for us as far as the S's are concerned. Overheating once more. I really don't like that. If we were pitting, that would be fine. The engine temperature would come back down. But since we aren't pitting, now we're sort of up against the engine temperature. And I don't know if the engine temperature sort of factors into the wear of the engine. Like the longer the light stays on, the more the engine takes a toll. We are really putting a lot of wheel into this car now to get it to turn. As the run goes on, our front tires are going to really start to fall off. But we're in 14th place now. We've passed 8 cars. And more should be. If they're splitting the race in half to get the most out of their tires, they should all be on pit road now. Once we come back by the line, we'll see where we stack up. They say the leader is on pit road. We've gone from 14th to 4th. So indeed, our strategy is playing out. We're in a top 5 position with 3 laps to go. We have to keep the tires under us. I believe we have plenty of fuel. I'm watching the fuel gauge and it's not dropping, which is ideal for the situation. If we run out with 1 to go, that will be heartbreaking for sure, because there is no way we can coast back around if we run out and on the start-finish line. We probably wouldn't even make it through the S's if we run out of fuel. So far, so good. A lot of lights flashing on the dashboard. We're hitting maximum RPM. We're getting everything we can out of the gearing. It's just these tires are holding us back. They're wearing down a lot of wheel in the carousel. This is probably the most abusive turn on the tires. A long, fast turn. that uses all 4 tires. All right, let's not miss this. Yep, the right front is in yellow, left front is holding better, but these left-handers are really wearing out that right front. So hopefully we can take it a little bit more easy on the tires now that we know that we are good on fuel, which it looks like we're going to make it. 2 projected laps with 2 in the tank. I'm going to start rolling off really early. I'm going to start short shifting here. I want to be sure to have enough fuel, and that will also help out the tire wear. I believe we're in a great spot. We just need to bring it home. A win would definitely be nice for those bonus points, and Brandon is going for his 6th win of the year to tie me. So we're in a great spot as far as the chase is concerned. This will lock us both into the chase come Richmond in September. But let's focus on what we've got in front of us now. Early braking here. We can sort of see when the leader crosses the line when we see 1 lap to go flash up there. This abusive carousel. I'm trying to drive more with the throttle than the steering wheel, try to use up the rear tires more than the front, but it is it's a battle that we're fighting. We're down to 1 projected lap with 2 laps to go still. This is going to be tight. I'm going to have to short shift a lot and really back my pace up. And they say in fuel mileage races you have to start early if you want to save on fuel, and we've been going pretty hard, probably much to our chagrin. But 1 lap to go, so Brandon is the leader. We are running in second. 2.5 miles to go. Oh, I'm sorry, 2 miles to go. But it is, it's going to be a treacherous 2 miles, I guarantee you. Let's get up through the S's nice and clean, short shift. I don't believe I'm going to go full throttle. I'll just see if Brandon runs out or if he has an issue. He's been going harder than we have, so technically his tires are worse than ours and his fuel is used up more than ours. Fuel pressure gauge is still holding strong, and we're getting through the bus stop here. Only the carousel and 2 more turns to go. So if everything goes our way and comes up Millhouse, we'll be able to get through. Up cords. Oh, there goes the tire. Our right front tire is gone. We're in the soft wall. Crap, this is not ideal. This left-hander coming up is going to be the bane of our existence, and using up the tires has used up the fuel as well. I don't know if I can come back across the line. We're locking up that right front. It's dragging into the ground. Turn, please. Down to second gear. Come on, get out of the dirt. Keep the momentum up. Well, we're not going to win. Let's just keep the car under us here. Look in our mirror. We got Earnhardt coming to our outside. We're not going to race him or Gordon. Let's come back to the line. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do it. Missing a right front tire with only 3 pounds of fuel.
Good job.
That is pretty incredible stuff. There goes Jarrett. Yeah, let's just park it over here. The right front is definitely gone. We used up the other 3 tires. That is nuts. Almost like the finish at Pocono, we come across the line with no fuel. But that was intense. Everyone pretty much on the lead lap there. Let's go back to the start and see what kind of moves we made here. Yep, down to the inside, following Brandon through. Well, we survived, and that was the big question mark here. But let's take a look at those final standings. Brandon in the lead with 6 wins now, and not because of wins, we're tied with those. Not because of top 5s, we're tied with those too. But he has 1 more top 10 than us, putting him in the points lead. Jeff Burton only needs to really start Michigan to be locked into the chase. The rest of them are, you know, feeling pretty comfortable. But definitely Elliott, Nadeau, Newman, and Benson have to get a win in these next few races to get in. But that is going to do it for me in this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Like, share, and subscribe if you are so bold. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the 2 mile. very fast Michigan Speedway. Take care.